Chapter 15. Here we go.
The neighbor lady had made her usual morning stop at Annie's kitchen. A routine coffee break was part of her schedule, and it gave her a chance to catch up on the neighborhood gossip. Annie was a treasure trove of information when it came to the goings on with the neighbors. As she reached to knock on the kitchen window, she let out a scream. There on the kitchen floor is her friend, lying in a pool of blood. She raced home to call for help because she was too stubborn to own a cell phone. She thought it to be an instrument of the devil. In a matter of minutes, sirens and flashing blue lights invaded the calm of the morning and tore through the neighborhood. The officers tried the door and found it unlocked. They pushed their way through the clutter that filled the little house and found Annie sprawled on the kitchen floor. By the amount of blood near her head, they concluded she had been bludgeoned to death. A cast iron skillet lay nearby and had blood on it, which looked to be the murder weapon. Forensics was called in to bag and identify the evidence, and the coroner was notified. Sergeant Maxwell was assigned the case. The phones are ringing off the hook, and activities around the social services department is in high gear. The police department has notified them of the death of Miss Annie Allwright, a client of theirs, who had filed a missing babies report. The implications of it being a murder sets off a whole lot of warning bells for the staff. Has anyone told Gloria about Mrs. Allwright's death? She's the one who's following up on that case. She's not in yet, but I'll get her on her cell phone and fill her in, answers the receptionist. Ralph makes arrangements to take the day off. His boss and none too pleased with him, since he just returned from a long weekend away from his job. The urgency of his plea convinces him to give Ralph one more day, but that was all. You be back to work by Wednesday, or don't come in at all. We need to visit the social services today, Lily. Can your mother sit with Shelley this afternoon? The longer we put it off, the harder it will be. We want to be casual about our being there, so they don't suspect we have another reason for our visit. I already talked to Mom, and she's on her way. Good. We'll get ready to go then. If they do tell us about the old lady, we'll just pretend we don't know anything about her and act surprised. Can you do that? I'll try. Do you think there is any way they could know Shelley may be the baby she's looking for? I have no idea what they know. I guess we'll find out, won't we? The drive downtown was stressful, not because of the traffic. Ralph can feel the tension and confinement of the little car as he concentrates on driving. They approach the building that houses the social services office and find a parking place. Come on, honey, be strong. The building is especially gloomy looking today, thinks Ralph. Or is it just because I don't want to be here? The receptionist asks if they have an appointment, and Ralph replies, No, we don't, but we were hoping to have a few moments of Miss Melbourne's time. She's the case worker for our foster baby. Lily hangs back, afraid she'll be recognized. The receptionist must remember me from the other day, but she doesn't act like it, thinks Lily. Please have a seat, and I'll see if she's available. I'll be back. Lily's face is an ashen gray, as she tries to appear relaxed. Ralph, fighting her own nerves, sits beside her, holding her hand to keep her from jumping out of her seat and running out the door. Appearing at the door, Miss Melbourne says, Please come in, Mr. and Mrs. Hampton. It's nice to see you. I'll have some questions for you, so this will work out perfectly. Lily stands and almost drops to the floor, but Ralph catches her. Luckily, Miss Melbourne had gone ahead to show them the way they didn't see what happened. Collecting themselves, they enter the office and are shown to their seats. Last weekend I made an unscheduled visitation as is required by the law to do a follow-up on the baby you're fostering. I made several phone calls with no answer except your answering machine, and I found no one at home. I had no word of you being out of town, which is also required by law, so I'm wondering if you have an explanation as to why I could not reach you. Shockwaves bounced between Ralph and Lily, making it harder for either one to say anything coherent. May I have a glass of water for Lily? She's been under the weather for a few days. We were home, but we didn't answer the door or phone, so she could get some rest. We didn't expect to hear from you since it's only been a few days since the baby's had her baby checkup. You really check her often, don't you? Is there anything wrong that we should know about? I wonder what's really going on. Lily nods her head as if she were afraid speaking would unravel everything Ralph had just said. She was seeing him in a completely different light. She was in control, and doing everything he could to protect her. Her heart swelled with love for him, for the first time in years. I think that answers my question. Please keep in mind, however, that if you leave town, you must notify me as to your whereabouts. Now, what brings me to my office today? We want to check on our application to adopt Shelley. Has anyone claimed to be your family? That's a matter for the court, and so far nothing has been settled. I think there has to be a lot more investigating done before it'll get that far. After all, we want to be as thorough as possible so no one puts in a claim at the last minute. You do understand, don't you? This is for the welfare of the baby to make sure no family member is available to take her.